Hello, everyone. Here's Maxa from Coinix. Coinix is a blockchain investment firm based in Hamburg. And today I'm going to interview one of our portfolio companies, the founder of Simetria. Ziv, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Masha. Happy to be here.
Could you please introduce yourself and tell us how did you end up in the blockchain industry? What is your story? How did you end up here?
So I started my career as a lawyer, as a corporate and securities lawyer in 2017. I started practicing in the blockchain space. Actually, what we were about was the connection between blockchain technology and the financial industry. We saw all the ICOs that were happening at the time. It was as a regulation expert, we were sure that there was a problem, so it's not compliant. But the technology worked and the settlement worked, and people were able to raise money on the internet worldwide at the same time. And we thought that that would probably be the future of finance. So myself and another partner, a US lawyer, we created a law firm that was focused on regulation of blockchain technology. After a few years, one of my clients was a big trading company named Ito that became my main client. I've joined them as a consultant to lead one of their projects, which was called the Good Dollar Project. It's a universal basic income project, non-for-profit, using cryptocurrency as a means of universal basic income, and it's backed by a stable coin. So the economy of this token is really working. We launched it backed by legal opinion, but by some of the largest law firms in the world. And after we launched this project, I left. I joined as a COO for another company named Onera. This company built an infrastructure for banks, basically for large financial institutions to trade using blockchain technology. It was backed by investment by JP Morgan, and later US Bank joined and some other. And Simetria I created together with Onera, basically, initially, but then it took its own life and became an independent company, totally separate from Onera technology and vision.
Yeah, I think using stable coins for the universal basic income, that must be very interesting. I was really interested when you mentioned that part. Cool. Now let's move forward to Simetria. So what Simetria does might be tangible for the people who are working in the financial market, but for someone who doesn't really understand the financial markets, how would you explain it to them? For example, if your grandmother asks you, Ziv, what do you do? What is your job? What does your company do? How would you answer to that question?
Yeah, I think the simplest answer and the shortest answer is we help people sell shares in private companies they hold. I think that would be the one line answer. The more complicated answer would be that we're building a new railways, an information system for trading of private assets, direct trading of private assets, so not through funds, but direct holding is in private assets. We're making the secondary market for pre-IPO more efficient. That would be the more comprehensive answer, and we also are working to provide layers of information that today does not exist on those assets.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Secondary market liquidity management and blockchain-based tokenization exchange platforms are definitely necessary in our ecosystem. So now I want to ask you, did anything special happen that the idea of Simetria came to your mind? For example, were you brainstorming with someone? Were you at a conference? Did you see a problem? What happened that the idea of Simetria just clicked in your mind?
So it didn't just click in my mind. Where I think that's the biggest problem that exists in the financial markets are the illiquidity and the way that private assets are traded. I don't see any problem that is bigger than that, because the public market is highly liquid and is very sophisticated. There's all kind of instrument and derivatives and so on. The private market, although it's very large, there's almost no instruments. It's not liquid. So most of the problem is in the private market, and there's lack of information. That's most of the problem is in the private markets, and there's not sufficient tools today, and there's no sophisticated railways that makes that market more efficient. So this is where Simetria comes in. Simetria is basically building new railways for the private markets. It's already operating today with an initial product, which is a private market for secondaries. I'll share my screen, and you can see the private market that we're operating. What this market is offering is investment opportunities in different assets, and you can connect to the broker or the investor that is looking to sell those assets. You can create a bid through the system. Once you enter the name of the company that you like to buy or sell, it automatically provides you the last round valuation of that company, and then you can decide whether it's through an SPV or direct or any other form, what class of shares are you selling, and so on. We launched this product about 3 or 4 months ago. We have about 115 investors and brokers that are linked to our network. And we're also using some of the platforms that are available today, if it's Caplight or Notice or AppView or Hive, to learn and gain more information about those assets that exists, an offering that exists through our market.
Really interesting. Yeah, the equity market somehow seems broken. Startup employees cannot really turn their equity compensation easily into cash, and most of the time only high-level executives can do that. And I think Simetria, the idea behind Simetria, can really help private companies manage their equity more efficiently. Amazing. So I'm gonna move forward to the next question. Is there any specific updates, partnerships, or advancements that Simetria has made during the past months that you would love to share here?
Yeah, sure. So I think, the most important part is that we're continuing to develop our trading system, which is a trading via, and which include also a settlement solution for investors, and we market it today to financial institutions. The idea is that you have a wealth management system, a portfolio management, where you can view all your assets. This is basically an abstraction layer for a DLT ownership ledger, which lists the entire portfolio of the investor, and all the transaction the investor has taken place. And it also includes a marketplace, and that marketplace basically allows you to instantly, through one click, trade assets. So you can buy an OpenAI shares to your portfolio. You can sell an OpenAI shares from your portfolio. And this is the main system that we've been developing. And we are sharing all our investment and everything that's happening through this market via a monthly newsletter, which includes the new assets that have been listed with us, and the new partnership that we've created. Right now, we have a partnership in 5 exchanges, from Canada to Germany, to the Netherlands, Singapore, and so on. And those partnership and other platform, secondary platform that work with us is used to efficiently distribute the assets, not reliant only on our small pool of investors, but also publishing them through other platforms that have even larger exposure than us. And eventually, we believe that you can so an asset could be listed on a one exchange in the EU, and then be acquired by investors from the US or Canada to their portfolio, and all of those markets would basically share the same order book, and this is where the market is going.
I think Simetria is actually helping the hiring and retention problem of companies as well. It will improve the employee compensation and experience, and the secondary transactions will be a little more seamless.
It's very intuitive. Once you have an efficient secondary market, then the value that you give your employees when you give them employee stock options is basically the same way that you're giving them RSU in public companies, or even salary compensation, because they know that when there's an efficient secondary market, they can sell it at any time through the secondary market. Simetria also developed a product that is a tender offering management. It basically allows a company to lead a secondary event that allows the entire team of the company, hundreds of employees from all over the world, to participate in a single sale event. It's a very complicated product. We invested a lot of money and time into it. And it basically does exactly that. It cleans the cap table. It allows employees to sell their shares during a sale event according to the US tender law regulations. And we see in the future how this marketplace, which I showed you, interacts with the other product, the tender management system.
Right. But there might be some other companies which are trying to do the same. Is there any company that you can mention as your competitor? And would you please elaborate on your differences? What makes Simetria stand out among the others?
So I think the most sophisticated market in the world in that respect is the US market. And you can find the usual suspects are Carta, Forge Global. They are the biggest players in this space. And eventually, what most of them do is they have a really strong team of brokers, of investment bankers working with them. And those sophisticated investment bankers are, sourcing liquidity from institutional players and investors. Simetria is different in that respect. It started as a technology company in the blockchain space. Its mission is, not only to source liquidity, but to develop a better railways. So Forge Global and Carta and the others are basically potential clients for Simetria, because it brings a new infrastructure for their current way of practice and more efficiency, and eventually they'll make more money. If the market is more, if you can buy and sell those assets in one click, then they will make more money.
Indeed. Yeah, I think Nasdaq Private Market and Equity Zen, they support secondary processes as well, but they are not focused on employees' experience like Simetria. Like, the solution is primarily not serving the employees, it's serving the companies and investors. And that's one of the things that makes Simetria different.
Yeah, we have to remember public markets are closed now. We don't see many IPOs, so the number of private companies is growing exponentially. And I think it's very clear that IPO is no longer an exit strategy. Even when time were good, there was some dozens of companies that went IPO. Right now, that doesn't exist. So I don't think that IPO is a good exit strategy for companies. Secondary is a much more viable exit strategy. So early investors sell to mid-stage investors, sell to late-stage investors. And it makes much more sense to have this type of a market rather than a market waiting for an event that would probably not happen. And if it would happen also, we've seen many companies that went IPO and then their stock crashed on the secondary market. So I think, making the secondary market more efficient should be of a highest priority.
Indeed, yeah. So is there anything else that you would love to mention about Simetria that I overlooked in my questions?
Yeah, Simetria is fundraising for the purpose of further building its platform, building an DLT strategy, an information sharing system that would bring more a light on the value of private assets, and some working capital to also to acquire some of the assets that we're seeing in the market and tokenizing them. So we're happy to connect with anyone who believes in the mission.
Perfect. Now, my final question is related to the general blockchain ecosystem. So there are a lot of people who have not invested in the blockchain industry, not yet, and they are a little skeptic about it, and they don't really believe about it, even though they are following the news and they see the hype and how everybody are talking about how the potentials of the blockchain technology. What is your message to the people who have not invested in the blockchain technology yet?
Look, you don't have to count on me. I think you have to go to the leaders of the financial world and see what they're saying. And those leaders are persons like Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, who said that the all finance world, all the trading of shares is going to go to blockchain infrastructure. You can go to the CEO of Goldman Sachs that have expressed a similar opinion. You can see the investment that JP Morgan is doing in this space. I think that about 2 weeks ago, they launched a POC together with Apollo Fund, where they demonstrated how it's called Project Guardian. So they demonstrated how private assets, funds that are Apollo, which is a very large asset manager, are being distributed through the Onyx chain with the use of different players like Oasis, which is a digital securities exchange of the US, bridging solution like Axela and Layer Zero, and we actually see it happening. We see the traditional world experimenting and building products on blockchain technology, and I think it's a huge opportunity to take part of the future railways of the financial system.
Exactly. When you can join the first waves, why not? Why wait until the adoption happens and then you're going to be one of the last ones? Perfect. Thank you for your answers. I'm done with all my questions. I want to thank you for joining this interview and I wish you a great day, Ziv.
Thank you, Masha.